The peer observations, and this has been a point that a couple of people have mentioned, that the peer observations were set up to evaluate the strategy, not so much the teacher. So it was how effective was the strategy in order to develop students' learning. And once people got over that, that was the main focus, they were more willing to enter into team teaching. We've got a literacy and teaching evaluation sheet that we developed last year. This was the John Munro one. It's fairly self-explanatory, really. And the buddy evaluation. So we just asked them to give them a score and how they thought the strategy was implemented.
Do you want to do a lesson performer as well?
No. That's a good one.
So where do we want to go? Obviously we have a lot of our teachers working towards doing team teaching this year, and they're trialling out the numeracy strategies and already the literacy, because we really focused on that all last year. It's an expectation through our AIP and our PLT groups that we are using the literacy strategies every lesson, and now the kids will be actually hopefully using them themselves. Where we want to go is that this practice of using the numeracy and the literacy, us as teachers using data, using the Ray Lewis, becomes really embedded in our everyday. And obviously Eros and I as learning leaders we do model that in our classes, and we go into classes and teachers come in and watch our classes. But that's one thing to do it that way. To actually have every single teacher doing it every single day is obviously the challenge that we all face. So that's hopefully where we're moving to, and in terms of doing the team teaching, that really facilitates that. And because we have such a flexible timetable and it's become so embedded in our culture of our school that we do the team teaching, this will make it easier and more an accepted practice for us all to do. Where we're going in particular in terms of numeracy is that this year we are working very closely with Lakeside in developing a joint plan. We were sitting there and thinking there's no point us doing a plan and them doing a plan, and then next year hopefully we'll be merging, we'll have to do a whole new plan. So we started doing one together, and we're actually going to have a day on the 18th of November where all of our maths teachers and their maths teachers are meeting at the one school and working through it then. Hopefully with Ruthven, we'll be working on ours next year as well, because there's no point doing it twice. We're going to be one entity sooner rather than later. So that's where we've got some really fantastic teachers who we're working with, and everyone's been on the same page with that, which is extremely exciting for both of us, with all three of us, I should say. Yeah, so that's where we're heading with our numeracy in particular.
Also looking into making larger learning spaces to accommodate larger groups of students, so that will allow our team teaching, because we've only got 2 or 3 areas that are large enough in order to accommodate having large groups of students together. So we're looking at being able to create larger learning spaces in the school. Next year also, especially in 9-10, we proposed an idea of a personal finance elective for students in order to develop their numeracy skills. And I have to say I was quite surprised by the level of enthusiasm by students. It became one of our top 3 most popular electives. So we're very, very warmed by that. And that's where we're at.
Thank you.
I think from that you're actually starting to see some insights into the ways that secondary schools are different from primary, for those people who are from a primary background. And you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, those lucky people, they get 100 minutes to plan together, and you know, the school finishes at 3 and so on. Now, let me tell you, they have their own challenges, and you know, it's plenty difficult to do that. I was actually just interested in the comments about finance. So I just happened to hear someone talking about they're running a financial literacy thing in maths in year 10 in a secondary school just recently, and they said they were really shocked at how little the kids knew about the mechanics. Like, they didn't realise, these kids, that when their mum went to the FPOS thing at the supermarket, that it actually came out of her account. They thought it was somehow coming from the government or something. I think we should go with that. We should suggest that. But it also highlights how you don't necessarily think of that. You know, you think, oh, they'll know that it's your own money and so on. Look, there are a number of things I think that come out of that experience, some of which is the same as before and some of which is different. Highlights, I mentioned right at the start about how school leadership is so much connected to this. And you could see that the leadership that appears to have, you know, the leadership from last year, the development of the plan, the being able to articulate the plan, the hubs and so on, has obviously made a change to what it is that's happening. I really like the idea of the lesson study because, particularly doing it that way, it does mean that teachers can start to explore different ways of doing mathematics. It is quite hard for maths teachers, and you've probably got a sense there's the imperative of getting the kids ready for VCE and making sure the kids have got all the stuff, but at the same time trying to make the maths enjoyable and engaging for the kids. And there is a bit of tension there. It's trying to find ways to do both things at once is important. I think you could see from here the structured plan that they have for improvement. You know, the PLTs, the hubs, the thinking about the thing as a whole. And my experience at the school when I went was that we were actually working with that 5 to 8 hub, and it was really nice to have the primary teachers seeing. I did a lesson with Year 8s that was on algebra, and it was really great for the primary teachers to watch it and to talk about or experience it and so on. The individual student monitoring, I think, was important and was something that was relevant. And I think the detailed curriculum planning, this might be a bit shocking news for you, but some secondary schools have a curriculum plan that looks like Chapter 3, Chapter 5, Chapter 2, and that's it. It sort of looks like that. So it's fantastic to go beyond that, to have that curriculum plan to do that. I think it also highlights, it's really fantastic to hear you talking about the future, the amalgamation, the changed school structure with that sense of hope. Because it does actually give the whole sense of the whole community that's being served by the schools a whole renewal thing. And so rather than sort of seeing it as a challenge and a threat, to embrace it as an opportunity is really quite, fantastic thing that came through the presentation. So congratulations and thank you for that.